Advisory with Prabhudas Leeladhar also joins us. Ajay, good morning. Thank you for joining us. You're going to start with Maruti. How much gap up start for Maruti today?
I think the concerns that institutional investors have been voicing on Maruti finally have led to the Maruti management taking a decision which I think is most welcome from the corporate governance perspective. Although they were not legally required to put this resolution to the minority shareholders for approval, I think they have taken a very positive, salutary step, and I think it should be welcome from the long-term perspective of minority investors. I think this essentially in my opinion, is a medium-term positive for Maruti. It could obviously open with a slight gap up, but one has to wait and see how the issue finally comes to a conclusion before committing medium-term funds for Maruti. Because the stock already has seen a substantial up move from roughly 1580, I think, to the current level.
Ajay, assuming that today Maruti will open closer to 1900 or 1950, would you be a buyer there?
I think I would refrain from committing at the levels that you just mentioned. I would rather wait for the markets overall to correct and be buyer only on declines.
Ajay, the big talking point all of last week turned out to be Infosys, especially after what Narayana Murthy as well as Shibulal had to say in terms of revenue guidance for the year going forward. What is it that you've advised your clients to do on Infosys? Book out?
I wouldn't be really too worried about the concerns on Infosys. Because if you look dispassionately at the main market for Infosys, which is the US, which contributes a substantial chunk, roughly 65 to 70% of its top line, and looking at the growth that is picking up, in fact galloping in the US markets, it bodes extremely well for not just Infosys but some of the top tier IT firms. I think volume growth is coming back roaringly. You're looking at margin expansion for the companies. In fact, NASSCOM also has been slightly more positive for the current year in terms of its guidance. So I think the market, in my opinion, was unduly worried when Mr. Shibulal mentioned that they will be able to be at the lower end of their guidance. So in my opinion, as the year goes forward, I think one clearly would be seeing strengthening in terms of the top line as well as margin expansion in Infosys, and one should in fact, in my opinion, go out and buy Infosys in the current weakness. We have a target price over 12 months of around 45.50 in case of Infosys.
Do you think what Infosys has communicated last week, is that a company specific problem or that really could be industry specific problems? Infosys is the first one to acknowledge it. Others may just acknowledge it or admit it along with their Q4 numbers.
No, I think Infosys, this particularly looks like a company specific problem. I don't see this to be in an industry wide problem. As I mentioned, I think this year the global economy is expected to grow at 3.6% as per IMF, vis-a-vis 2.9% in calendar year 13. For the first time, it's going to have a strengthening up move in terms of global growth after 2010, which bodes very well for the IT services firms. Europe also is coming out of recession. The UK is doing extremely well, and the US obviously is expected to grow at 3.5% vis-a-vis 1.9% in 13. So I think the IT sector as a whole, I don't see any problem in terms of growth. There has been lately concern about rupee acting as a headwind because of the extraordinary strength that one has seen in rupee. But I personally feel that the companies will have pricing power back with them, and they'll be able to mitigate the concerns on the currency by being able to increase the pricing as we go in the year ahead.
Ajay, the big sectoral gainer last week has turned out to be a capital goods, and not just last week. We've seen a significant build-up in the entire sector for the last many weeks to come now. Which is that one capital goods stock where one can still get in and make money?
I'm afraid I think almost all the capital goods stocks, at least the frontline ones, have seen between 25 and 35% increase in the last 1 month. And this entirely has been led by an expectation of a decisive mandate being returned by the electorate post May 16th. So all of us are hoping for the best, but we also need to plan as a portfolio manager for the worst. So in case the mandate does not turn out to be as decisive, or then what? So I think, in capital goods, it's all riding on hope right now. It's expected that I think the new government will help revive the moribund investment cycle, which has been lackluster for the last 3 to 4 years. There is a dearth of supply side. There are supply side constraints in many of these subsectors in capital goods, and we have seen that the companies that are supplying capital goods suppliers are the first ones to pick up strength, whereas the asset owners, I think, have still not yet joined the party. But I would be very cautious at the current levels in jumping into some of these frontline names, because although the government has cleared 6 lakh crores worth of projects through CCI, when you talk to corporates at the ground level, and I was talking to one of the largest ones last week, we are not yet seeing any impact in terms of aggregate demand insofar as orders for construction sector are concerned, and hence the effect on the other sectors also. So right now it's all riding on hope. There's a re-rating that has already happened, and I would be biased only on declines in case of capital goods sector.
Well, just stay with us. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get you trading ideas from Mitesh.
Subir Gokarn is the former Deputy Governor of the RBI, whose economic expertise is now keenly sought after by Brookings India. Govardhan Darbar's complex financial research brings a unique perspective to the markets and the economy, while Alok Sheel utilizes his immense public administration experience to advise the Prime Minister on shaping India's economy. Catch Macros with Maitli, Episode 3. Only on ET Now. What if your portfolio could look into the future? What ideas will drive tomorrow's markets? Which trends and patterns will create opportunities? What will dictate the movement of the indices? Turn today's strategies into tomorrow's perfect opportunities. Catch Markets Tomorrow, only on ET Now.
अरे विशेष क्या है? आप ले लो. क्या हो रहा है?
When goodness is shared over food, life smiles. That's why we pack goodness in all that we do. Nestle, good food, good life.
जिस लोकेलिटी में आप प्रॉपर्टी देख रहे हैं, क्या वहाँ पे मार्केट है, पानी, बिजली है? कैसे पता करेंगे? बॉन्ड, लोकल बॉन्ड, सीक्रेट एजेंट, इतना सीक्रेट कि इसके पासपोर्ट पे इसकी फोटो भी नहीं है. हर लोकेलिटी की जानकारी आपको देगा.
नॉनसेंस. हर लोकेलिटी की छोटी बड़ी जानकारी आसानी से मिलती है, सिर्फ magicbricks.com पे. तभी तो magicbricks.com प्रॉपर्टी से ही मिलेगी यही.
पिछले 5 सालों से हम ही को वोट दें, हमारी पार्टी अब सरकार
देश से ये दाग हटे या ना हटे, बर्जर इजी क्लीन से रंगी दीवारों से हर दाग आसानी से हटेंगे। बर्जर इजी क्लीन, नो दाग नो धब्बा, ओनली ब्यूटीफुल वॉल्स।
Innovative Aqua, responsible green, reliable blue, energetic orange, our inspiration to change for a better tomorrow. Praj, innovate, integrate, deliver.
Doctor, you're a funny man. लो, मेरा फैमिली एडवाइजर आ गया।
अरे तुम्हारा फैमिली डॉक्टर तो मैं हूँ, ये फैमिली एडवाइजर कौन है भाई?
भाई जैसे तुम मेरी हेल्थ का ख्याल रखते हो, वैसे ही मेरी वेल्थ का ख्याल रखता है मेरा फैमिली एडवाइजर, मेरा एसएमसी। एसएमसी, इंडियाज अवार्ड विनिंग ब्रोकर जो रखे आपके निवेश का ख्याल। एसएमसी, मनी वाइज, बी वाइज।
Facing an acute energy deficit, how can India incentivize production and reduce its dependence on energy imports? Kane India presents the Energy Dialogue.
The oil age is not going to end because we are going to run out of oil. So oil is here to stay as an important fuel for this country.
When you talk of energy security, you must bring in the assurance from disruptions of all kinds.
A panel discussion on addressing challenges and developing resources to ensure India's energy security. Only on ET Now.
कैन प्योरीफायर्स पानी को बनाए 100% प्योर?
क्योंकि इसमें है डबल प्योरिफिकेशन आरओ और यूवी से।
कैंट देता है सबसे शुद्ध पानी।
Back with trading cards right here on ET Now. A little tempered this morning when it comes to the SGX Nifty. So it's holding out in the green, but just about marginally. So up about 0.2%. Picked up a wee bit. It's okay considering we're holding on to that 65.50 mark. 65.62 is where we're at currently in trade. But let's go across to Mitesh and get in some trading ideas going. Mitesh, what would you recommend?
I'll begin with the buy on IDFC, a buy with a stop at 109 for targets of 125. ITC is a buy with a stop at 342 for short-term targets of 358. LIC Housing Finance is a buy with a stop at 222.5 and look for slightly positioning targets of 245. L&T is a buy with a stop at 1228 for targets of 1320. And a solitary sell call is on Sesa Sterlite, sell around levels of 173, keep a stop at 177.5. Look for targets of 163.
There's some consensus going on IDFC. Ajay, at PL, do you track IDFC, and do you think the current price appreciation in IDFC is a function of the belief that IDFC will get a new bank license?
I think the market is building in that expectation that among the couple of stocks being mentioned as forerunners, IDFC sort of clearly stands in that pack along with L&T Finance, and also sort of some people expect even the Bajaj sort of group to be a front runner. So I think these 3 or 4 names clearly stand out as the hopefuls as and when the decision is taken to grant bank licenses. Also sort of the expectation that the investment cycle is on the mend after the ascendance of the new government, which will sort of spell out policies for revival in the core sector, which is the main business for IDFC, also has been spurring a lot of enthusiasm among market participants insofar as IDFC is concerned.
Ajay, the government launched the PSU ETF basket, and a couple of names from the PSU pack really saw a whole lot of traction, be it BPCL, ONGC, GAIL, Coal India, REC, IOC. The entire pack was really holding out. Does it seem like this is just a short-term trade which was playing out, considering the basket was only open up until Saturday, and today again these stocks would be back to being flat?
I think the common thread among the stocks that you mentioned clearly are the energy stocks, be it the upstream or the the downstream energy companies. And there I think the hope is that the new government will put in place policies that will ensure that the energy security is right there at the top in terms of the priority. And both the coal sector as well as the oil and gas sector will be the focus of any dispensation that comes to power. If one has to expect a sustained higher growth for the Indian economy, and lately I think the dependence on imports for coal as well as gas has assumed quite serious proportions. So I think that sort of, there is this hope that policies will be attuned to ensure that that these sectors remain the focus areas. Also, I think as the rupee is appreciating, the under recovery in case of diesel, LPG and kerosene is narrowing. That also is playing a part in some of the downstream companies like BPCL or HPCL or IOC having a run. So I think, at the same time, the EC also has said that they would rather take a dim view if the 50 paisa per litre increase on a monthly basis is stopped. In fact, they are all in continuance of the current policy. So these all issues spell quite good for the downstream companies, and hence I think one is seeing sort of a positive momentum there.
Okay, Maruti clearly is the big story, and fresh comments are coming from the Maruti chairman, Mr. R.C. Bhargav. And those comments are pertaining to the minority shareholder voting, where management to meet institutional shareholders before that voting by minority shareholders. Minority shareholders vote legally, not binding on Maruti. That's perfectly acceptable. It is the discretion of Suzuki in this case whether they want to abide with the minority shareholder voting or not. So this is the latest communication that whatever minority shareholders may vote, Maruti or the Suzuki management may not abide by it. But having said that, I think the fact that they've redecided to work the original plan, they've redecided